Hey everybody, hope you're well. Gary Fernan here for Photoreceptorcell, and in this guide I'm going to show you how to create beams of light in Photoshop. Now this technique is really quite simple. We have here our photograph and I'm going to create beams of light coming through those windows on the left hand side. And the way we do that is going File New and creating a new document. I'm going to leave that as it is, leave the dimensions as they are. It doesn't matter whether you use portrait or landscape orientation, because we will move the layer around once we've done or created the beams of light. All I will say is make sure that your background content is black. And hit create. Now the reason why I like to use a black background is because I find that it's easier to blend once we've done what it is that we're trying to do. So if we hit B on the keyboard for the brush tool, make sure that we have a white brush, and then because our image or our photograph that we're using is in landscape orientation, what we're going to do is just going to draw a line across the photo or across this layer here, and then almost create a triangular shape, because we want the beams of light to fall out there. So just nice and random. Come up to filter, blur, radial blur. Where are we? The amount is 100. The zoom, also the blur method is at zoom. Now this is our center point here. Now we want to make sure that that's right at the edge, because that's where we're going to create our beams from. Hit OK, and there we have the blurred white dots. Now, in order to make that a bit more realistic, we're going to continue to, or we're going to repeat that radial blur. You can do it the way that I am doing now, or the keyboard shortcut of these three little icons here. So what I'm trying to do is blur, as I continue to blur the filter here, you can see here it's creating beams of light. This is entirely up to you how much you blur these beams. It's personal preference. To be fair, I'm quite happy with my beams of light as they are there. What I am going to do though is I'm just going to increase the brightness of those beams. So about there. Again, personal preference. It does depend on the photo that you're using as well. Hit V on the keyboard, brings up your move tool. I'm just going to drag and drop that into my photograph. Yes. Okay. And there we go. Right. Move tool still selected. I'm just going to bring that over to the window. Command T, which is your free transform command, and I'm going to have the angle of that light coming through just there. Okay, now change the blending mode of that layer to screen. Bring up the command or your transform box again, and here we can adjust the shape and the size of that layer, and we're just going to mess around with this until we are happy. Okay, so I'm happy with that there. I'm going to hit return, and I'm going to show you now a quick or what I believe to be the best way to get rid of these harsh edges and to make it look more realistic. and that's using the gradient tool. So if we look at the gradient options, I'm going to use the neutral density gradient, and I'm just going to draw lines and just keep doing that until the harshness of that line fades, and not forgetting down here as well, like that. Now what we're going to do is, using the eraser, I'm just going to take away this edge here, because whilst the light will spill onto the frame of the window, it wouldn't spill that much. So I'm just going to take the edge off of that, and the same with the top as well. Bear in mind the light is coming in from this angle here. It's not going to hit the top of that top of the wall, so I'm just going to bring that down slightly here as well. What we don't want to forget is that we have a second window here, so I'm going to duplicate that layer, select the move tool, and then just bring that over here as well. Now, because we have already erased the window frame here, we've got a nice point here we can refer to, like a reference point there. So we can then hit erase and then get rid of everything that's on the inside of that window that we don't want, and a little bit down. Maybe take the edge off the top there, just a little bit, just so you can see. Now, because that window is slightly further away from us, it's not going to be as bright as the light coming through the window closest to us. So let's just reduce the opacity of that layer just a bit. I'm going to take it down to 80%, just to take the edge off of that, just to give it a bit more real, an extra element of realism there as well. And there you go, guys. Look, that is how you create beams of light in Photoshop. Guys, I hope you found this this guide useful. If you did, let me know in the comment section. If there's elements of it that you didn't like, or you didn't fully understand, again, leave a comment. We'll always get back to you and answer any questions that you have. But I hope you found this useful, and we will see you next time.